Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Catherine, and on this channel I post videos about language learning and traveling. I have been traveling around New Zealand and I have an entire playlist down below, and today I actually have a language video. As the first quarter of the year has come to an end, it is time for us to wrap it up and talk about what I've done, what I've accomplished, how much time I've spent, what's my progress with language learning. I made an entire video on my 2023 goals, which I'm gonna leave down below in case you want to watch it. And today I'm gonna talk about my first 3 months and how I did. And yeah, I really apologize if you can hear any noise in the background. This is a really busy area and I am trying my mic for the first time, but I don't know how it's gonna go, and also this video might be long, so grab a snack or a beverage of choice and get comfortable. And also, if you see me looking down, I have my notes here. So let's get started. Let's talk about overall language learning, language goals. So I have been working a lot on discipline, consistency, and integrating language learning into my daily life, and I would say that I am doing a pretty good job on this. I've been doing at least something every single day and I am really enjoying it. Some days it's been more, some days it's been less. So January was quite a busy month for me. I graduated university and quit my job, and then in February I started traveling, and it's honestly quite challenging to study while you're traveling and trying to enjoy your life to the fullest, but I somehow managed to do it. I studied a lot on my rest days and during evenings or when the weather was bad, and I actually really enjoyed it. And then at the end of February I came to New Zealand and I was traveling for a little bit, and now I've been living here for a couple of weeks working, and so I am trying to get into routine again and just figure out when is the best time for me to study now. And yeah, I would say that I've been utilizing my time and doing things. For example, when I go for walks or hikes, I can listen to some music or podcasts. When I go for a run, I would listen to a Spanish music and stuff like that. Also, I sometimes listen to podcasts while I'm at work doing some mindless jobs. There are things at work I can't do while listening to something, but then once I'm cutting kiwis or doing something mindless, I can listen to podcasts. I don't do that much. I like to socialize with my colleagues there. Unfortunately, over the past 3 months, I started focusing too much on quantity rather than quality. I created this plan on Notion that said my perfect week would be to spend 15 hours on language learning, this many hours in German, this many hours in Italian, this many hours in Lithuanian, and I would go there every day and focus on how many hours I had left to study to reach that goal. And I think that is not very healthy. I mean, it is good to have some time goals. It is good to know how many hours you spend on language learning, because the more hours you spend, the closer you are to getting fluent or to getting to your goal, whatever that is. But focusing too much on that is very toxic. So I am learning to balance things. When I don't want to study or I am too tired, I don't do it. Or when I just want to read a book in English, I just do that. Or when I want to listen to Latvian music or Russian music, I let myself do that, because you have to have balance. And language learning is a hobby for me. It's not my job. So therefore I shouldn't push myself too hard and should enjoy other activities as well. And so far I have spent a decent time on language learning this year. If we look at time distribution, I've definitely spent most of my time on German, which is self-explanatory because German is my main priority this year, but honestly I would like to spend more time on Italian and Lithuanian as well. So now let's talk about each language specifically. So this first quarter I have spent 57 hours and 53 minutes on German, which I think is absolutely amazing. My yearly goal is to spend 100 hours on German, and honestly I wouldn't be surprised if I reach that by end of June. Yeah, actually it is far more than I expected at the beginning of the year, but I would say I've done a lot of different things. I have spoken German German, both in Berlin, and I also had 2 Lingoda classes, which I'm, by the way, counting as I had a goal of having 1 italki class, but I am counting this as that goal because my main goal was to have at least 1 class of German, and I had 2, and it doesn't matter if it was Lingoda or italki. I hope it makes sense. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed those Lingoda classes, and I might have some more in the future. Actually, I am still very self-conscious when I speak German because I make a lot of mistakes. I make a lot of grammar mistakes. I don't know a lot of words, and I know how to speak about simple topics, but for example, in the Lingoda class that I had one-on-one with the tutor, it was like introductory class, and I was the only student there. She would make me talk about really simple things like describe what's happening in this photo or describe this person, and I would be like, oh my god, I would like be searching for words in my brain, and I know I had those words at some point in my life and I could talk about more difficult topics, but now for some reason I just can't. I was struggling a lot when I was talking because I put a lot more effort and a lot more time into language input rather than output, but I think it's very important to do speaking, writing, active listening as well, and like things that actually make you output the language. I also spoke a little bit with myself, just filmed myself on the camera, and I had my notebook and I was writing words that I didn't know. I am very happy and proud of myself because last year I don't think I spent a single minute on speaking except for the few videos that I filmed. I think I filmed 1 video in Spanish, 1 video in German, and 1 video in Lithuanian, but that was like 10 minutes of speaking throughout the entire year, and this quarter I've already had like 3 hours of speaking in German, which is really good. And then I think a very important thing is that I still really need to work on my accent. I need to do more speaking, more shadowing, because my accent is not very good in German, and I know that. I realized that when I was speaking and when I was speaking in the class and when other people were speaking, their accent is so much better, and I don't know. And I know we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people, but for some reason when I was in that class, I had all those thoughts like, wow, their level is so good. Wow, they can understand so well, and like I can't, and why can't I? And I started reflecting, and I realized that's simply because I don't take enough classes, simply because I don't speak enough, and simply because I don't work on my accent. My biggest point so far this year is writing. My goal for the year was to write 100 journal entries, but I have decided to mix and match this goal a little bit, so I'd say 100 texts, either journal entries, little short texts on different topics. For example, I could write texts about my favorite foods or some like events that are happening or some historical events or something that would expand my vocabulary beyond B1 level. I would say I'm somewhere in between B1 and B2, but I'm definitely not comfortable enough to say I am upper intermediate just yet. So I have to do a lot, and so far in 3 months, I am really embarrassed to say that, but I have written 6 journal entries. 6. And then I also read 2 books in German, and I really enjoyed both of them. One of them I think was written more for like German learners because it was a lot easier to understand. The other one was just like translated from English. It was a novella by Jojo Moyes, and I still understood what was going on from the context, but I wouldn't say that it was the easiest read for me, and it took me a really long time. It took me like almost 10 hours to read 2 short books, and both of those books were like 150-page long. I wasn't doing like intensive reading, I was just like reading and trying to understand what's going on from the context. Another of my goals was 6 hours of listening per month, and I definitely did that in January, and then in February I only had like 3.5 hours, but in March I caught up and I had like 11 hours. So on average I am now at 7 hours of listening per month, which I am counting as accomplished. Yes, I only did it 2 out of 3 months, but on average I have 7 hours, so that counts. it's my goal, it's my rules, okay? I was doing a lot of passive listening, listening to a lot of podcasts, but I also watched Extra on YouTube. I still have 2 episodes left, I think. I also started studying German using Nico's Weg, and I'm really enjoying it. They have all kinds of activities for you in the one class. So you do listening, you answer to questions, you do reading, you do grammar, you do like all kinds of activities. You also do speaking a little bit to yourself, and I really enjoy it. So I'm gonna continue doing that until I finish all of the classes. Let's move to Italian. So I am not that happy with my Italian. I've only spent 22 hours and 33 minutes on it, which I think is not enough if you want to improve very fast. But again, my main language for the year is German, and I am not trying to prioritize Italian as much, and I'm honestly mostly spending my time on memorize and passive listening. I haven't done a lot of grammar, I haven't done a lot of like writing. I think I only did like 3 or 4 writing sessions, and I'm not doing a lot of reading. I have started reading a short story collection, and I've read 2 short stories, but I really need to continue and really need to focus on Italian a little bit more. As far as speaking goes, I should at least talk to myself, because I haven't spent a single minute speaking Italian this year. I've been mostly just like doing input and memorize. Also, I should do some more active listening. So I have done a little bit of active listening throughout the months, but I'd say it wasn't more than 1 or 2 hours per all of the languages. Times I would listen to podcasts and my thoughts would wander somewhere for 3 seconds, and then I would come back and I just don't understand what's going on. So yeah, that is something that I really need to work on. And then Lithuanian. I have spent 15 hours and 57 minutes on Lithuanian so far this year, and it has mostly been passive listening. I've been listening to this podcast that I really like. Their episodes is like an hour and a half long, and I really enjoy them. It's like an interview about different topics with different people, and it's really cool. Like, they talk about all kinds of stuff, but they don't have a lot of episodes left that I haven't listened, unfortunately. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to look for something else. And I should also work on like reading more. I should also work on writing more. I should like improve. So because these past 3 months I've just spent like maintaining the language and not actually improving. I have spent a little bit of time writing sentences and a little bit of time on Quizlet, but really not enough to improve. This is basically what's been going on. I've been improving my German a lot, and all other languages just like meandering somewhere just down there, just maintaining them. But I definitely want to improve at least a little bit in all of my languages this year, not just like maintain them, you know. Alright, now let's talk about my Q2 plans. I have my notebook here, and so my Q2 plan is to do 30 German journal entries or writing short texts on different topics, then reading 3 books in foreign languages, and then finish as much of Nico's Weg as I possibly can. So 1 class takes me about 40 minutes to an hour, so I have still a lot to go through, but I want to do as much as I can. And then finish Italian short story collection, and then do more active listening as I talked about it already, and then finish Italian 4 on Memrise. I have started Italian 4 on Memrise, and it's a very short chapter, so I think they have like 11 classes there, and I'm on class 5 now, but I'm doing a lot of reviewing before I go through new material, so I spend a lot of time reviewing rather than learning new material. And then the last one is to study more Lithuanian vocabulary. I definitely have to study more Lithuanian vocabulary, and actually I switched my phone to Lithuanian, and there's a lot of words that I understand because I know my phone and I know what those words should mean, but I don't actually know what those words mean in Lithuanian, if it makes sense. So I have to go through that and also maybe make a list or something and learn those words. So yeah, there you have it. This video is a little bit chaotic because I have to leave for work in 5 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Bye!